What's good, everybody? Welcome back to Whole Views, and today we get to talk about Red Notice. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't so far. Help us to keep growing the channel. We're doing big things and we love to have you be a part of it. Hit the alerts, never miss a video. Let's talk about Red Notice. If I'm being all the way honest, Red Notice to me is a spectacular mid-level movie. My overall score is a 6.6. But it's in that mid-tier of films, and I came up kind of with those tier systems, just talking about different things. Me and my producer having more time face to face to talk about the way we rank movies and the way we feel about films. And Red Notice comes in right at the mid-tier. It's a Netflix film. The production of it doesn't feel like a Netflix film. The finished product that you're seeing on film does not look like something that Netflix would produce for most of it. But the overall vibe that I got from it was, it's okay. It's a pretty cool movie. Something to put on in the background. Something good to watch. Since the movie's been out for a while, I guess I'll do a spoiler review here and just talk about the things that I liked and didn't like about the movie. And getting into my numbers, I would say story and pace. There's a 5 for both of those. Reason why there's a 5 is because the story that they were telling did not grab me. I did not love the egg storyline. Like, let's chase the egg. The whole movie is about that, and it just didn't grip me from the beginning. It was interesting at the outset of it, but as the story kind of went along and the way the movie was paced, you would have these personal moments between The Rock and Ryan Reynolds, and it's like, the personal moments didn't grab me, as well as the egg storyline, like let's chase the egg all over the world, like that didn't grab me either. So I kind of felt like uninterested in a lot of it. It was just, I was kind of just anticipating the action, and then whatever story they would give us to get us to the next action set piece. And that's the biggest criticism that I have for it. Just the fact that I was watching, I was going along, and it's like, I'm just waiting for something interesting to happen, because this egg stuff is not it. And the personal connection between Ryan Reynolds and The Rock, it didn't click to me at all, and it didn't grab me as they tried to give performances that left off the screen. It just didn't connect for me. Speaking of performances, getting into the visuals, I give the visuals an 8 because for the most part, this movie looks good. There are some very, very, very bad CG scenes that as I watched them unfold, I looked and I was like, I don't know what you're giving me here, but it's not what I want to see. I think specifically about the Coliseum stuff, like the stuff with The Rock and Ryan Reynolds like out and running around. It's not a huge section of the movie by any means, but it's just some of that stuff didn't look good at all. I know they can't shoot at location on the Coliseum grounds and stuff, but they could have built a set. They could have did something to make it look better than that. Also criticizing the visuals, I'm thinking about Ryan Reynolds' performance. You watch a performance on screen, so I put it in the visuals category. And I didn't like the fourth wall breaking stuff that Ryan Reynolds did. Also, Ryan Reynolds is Ryan Reynolds. Some people equate Ryan Reynolds to Deadpool because at this point he is synonymous with the role, and that role gave Ryan Reynolds to the masses. But Ryan Reynolds has been doing the same thing for years now, and it's just kind of more of the same, and it kind of got old. He fourth wall broke at least 2 times. And it kind of made me think, like, that's what we doing? Like, right when I was starting to get into the movie towards the end, when they're in the Nazi bunker and they looking for the boxes and stuff, and he's just like, look for the box labeled MacGuffin. It's like, that's a film term that people use, and you're using it here in the film. It's like, I didn't like that. He talked about like shooting the glorified extras, and I was like, I didn't care for that. I didn't really like that at all. But one of the things that I did find that was real cool, I always liked The Rock's performances. He was solid throughout. He actually had me convinced that he was a cop. Had my wife that he was convinced that he was a cop like the whole way through. Then when you get to the twist end, it's like, oh, y'all was working together. Not that big of a deal. But at the same time, good performance by The Rock, because I didn't see that coming at all. I thought he was actually a police officer. And also Gal Gadot. Her performance was rock solid, like way more charismatic than what we've used to seeing her in some of the other stuff. I think they gave her a little bit more room to work in this one, I think, as opposed to the first Wonder Woman. Like, she was real caged in there and like kind of like just do what you have to do, but she did well here, and she had like a wider range. Like she got to do the little seduction stuff that she did way back in the Fast and Furious movies. But then, you know, she had some legs, you know, like kind of interacting with The Rock and like the little torture scene. It did enough. It did enough to kind of convince me, like, oh, she's really actually torturing him, blah, blah, blah. It was cool. It was cool. She had a little charisma to her, and I enjoyed seeing it. I liked her performance. Entertainment value, I give her 7. I actually started watching this movie like a week ago, and then things happened, life happened, holidays happened, and I had to come back and rewatch it and like started from the beginning, started with my wife, you know. We watched the whole thing, but it's like, if I would have stopped at that halfway point that I was like a week ago, and then not ever finished it, it wouldn't have been a big deal. It wasn't like a must-see type film. It was entertaining in the beginning, but again, with the story and the pace being how it was, where I stopped originally, I kind of felt like, if I don't pick this back up, it's no big deal. I'm not missing nothing. Entertaining in the beginning, I'm sure there'll be some more entertaining stuff at the end, but it's like, just didn't move me a whole bunch to kind of say, hey, I have to see this. This is a must watch. Like, or I have to see how this ends. I didn't get that. I didn't get that from this. Again, solid, cool little movie. Not the biggest mind-blowing experience. Finally, we come down to rewatchability, which this one gets a higher rewatchability score to me with an 8 out of 10 because, yes, I recommend it. Yes, it's, you know, for most audiences, I think almost anyone can get behind a light, fun movie like this. But there are parts that I really want to revisit. Like, there's a section in the middle where I kind of want to see if I can like rewatch it and catch those hints that they kind of give you with the reveal on the end. So it, you know, it kind of inspires another rewatch and a recommendation. So that's high marks for me. Not something that I would throw on maybe years down the line or like repeatedly, but definitely if I'm just walking through the house and that scroll by and they're like, we need to put something on in the background while I'm cleaning, like, I'll put that on and go do something and then catch a piece. I think, you know, it's in that category. And, you know, probably one whole rewatch through just to see if I can catch any kind of inclinations on the second time around. Because I know on the first time around, that twist that they kind of revealed at the end with the Rock working with Gal Gadot, I was like, I didn't notice any of that. All those lines was like real throwaway type lines. So going back and watching it again to see if I can catch it this time, it'll be cool. It'll be cool. So cool little movie. 6.6 out of 10. Not the highest score, not the lowest score. Mid-tier movie. Real good time. That's all I got. So enjoy yourself. Guard your heart, and please come back, check out more movie reviews.